Hello, future millionaires. This is Aztec, and this is the CSC. Happy New Year's to all of you. I know everyone really enjoyed this Christmas rally here, and if you've been following, I traded it to a T practically. Did very well during this time in December, and we're looking to go ahead and trade very well through the year of 2019. So subscribe for more videos, technical analysis. Now, I am a Cardano guy, so today we're going to go ahead and also talk about this article here. It's the top 10 cryptocurrencies aren't the most actively developed, and there's some references to Cardano here, some positive references from CCN, so this is a very interesting article. And we're going to go ahead and talk about the charts. Yes, we're going to talk about where I think we're going in 2019. And we're going to do a little bit of education because I've seen a lot of videos come out since the beginning of 2019 that have some TA that's a little off. So we're going to go ahead and do some education. And I will actually show you from other sources what we're looking at. So anyways, we're looking at the Bitcoin to USD 4-hour Coinbase chart currently. This is the chart that I use most on my videos, and we're going to go ahead and focus here in this area to go ahead and start. So a lot of people have been calling this coiling pattern here, this it's kind of coiling up here, been calling this area an ascending wedge, and this is not an ascending wedge, you guys. Now I'm going to show you what an ascending wedge looks like. It should look like this. There should be a ceiling or a resistance point that is essentially at $1 amount, you could say, where the pattern continually butts up against here and isn't able to break. See, it's a straight line, and then the pattern is essentially making higher highs here, see? And that's what an ascending wedge or triangle is. In this case, you can see here that the the candles here are moving downward, though we are getting this kind of from the bottom of the candles, we're getting an ascending, kind of like an ascending rise, but the top isn't flat, so this isn't an ascending triangle. This looks more like a symmetrical triangle, but if we actually zoom out, because really this is kind of a hard point to call. A lot of people don't actually like to make calls on this pattern, especially when it's coiling up like this and it's more symmetrical. Symmetrical meaning that there's two converging lines, coming together. It's not exactly pointing up or down, and there isn't like a flat, basically resistance or support. These lines are coming together like this. So this is kind of symmetrical looking. And in this case, a lot of symmetrical triangles, per classical technical analysis, guys, in the books, they literally say you can't call it. You can only know where you're going after, you either break up or down. And a lot of traders really don't trade on this symmetrical kind of, coiling pattern. They actually trade after it breaks out. So either it breaks up here or breaks down here. That's when they put the trade in, and then they follow that trade. But there is kind of like a caveat, and that would be that the symmetrical triangle would follow the current trend. And the current trend over the past week, since you could say the middle of December, has been bullish. So if there is any kind of possibility of a bias here, it would be a bullish bias on this symmetrical triangle. Now, really, I like to zoom out because I want to look at the indicators zoomed out from this point, because this is a really big area of indecision, So I feel like we should zoom out a bit, look at the indicators, and look at what the chart looks like in general zoomed out. So we'll actually go to the weekly here, and let's go ahead and zoom in here to current time. So you can see over the last 3 weeks here, what we have really formed is a pennant. Bullish flag, you could kind of say this looks like a bull flag or a bullish pennant. And let's go ahead and take a look at what this shows here. So this is from stockcharts.com. It's actually a pretty decent site, and you can see here that you know, they basically show this as being kind of like the flagpole, and then here this is the pennant, and that's what we're seeing here. And if we zoom out, or if we zoom in a little bit more, our actual pennant would look more like this. But if we just look at the weekly, you know, we can see that you know, this looks a lot like a bull flag. So we could move up, you know, from here. We could break out from this, what people are calling you know, an ascending triangle, but it's not an ascending triangle. It's more of a symmetrical triangle, and it looks like there's a lot of bias, of bullish bias from this point. And if we look at the RSI here, we can see that we're only at 35 on the weekly. We also can take a look at the MACD here, and we're starting to scoop upward here, and it looks like we want to cross over and up over the trend line. And you can see that selling pressure is subsiding on this histogram here. See, it's going from red to white. So there's a really good chance that we actually see a break upward from this symmetrical triangle. And what I can see for 2019, because a lot of people are asking, now guys, I do not like to give predictions that are too far into the future, because I always say, you know, that the further you project into the future, the greater, you know, margin of error that you can create. And you know, that's why I don't really give predictions. But because it's the beginning of 2019 and it's a, you know, it's a happy new year, we're going to go ahead and just throw out a prediction. Of course, this is not financial advice, and this is kind of a bullish prediction. If you want to get a bearish prediction, you can go ahead and go to a lot of other channels. There's a lot of YouTube channels that are actually extremely bearish right now. But what we could be seeing here is kind of a, we're just going to go ahead and just draw this out, kind of like a pattern like this, guys. And I'll go ahead and explain what I'm looking at here. So we could see something like this, like a, you know, I've gone over Elliott wave in past videos, kind of like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kind of movement, and we could see that play out here, like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kind of movement upwards towards the 6K area. And basically for 2019, if you've watched me since the beginning of my channel, you know that I said that February is where I think we would start moving up. That would be around more closer to the area of when we really start seeing some more positive sentiment in the market and bullish movements upward. But this potentially could be a bottom. I'm still not calling bottom, because really we want to see where this symmetrical triangle goes. We want to see where this chart matures. But, you know, just for this prediction, guys, for this bullish prediction, and you know, just the opinion of what I've said in the past and now what we're looking at now, we're just going to go with this prediction. And it is a bullish prediction for 2019. You know, we could see kind of like a rounding bottom kind of look through 2019, not necessarily extending the entire year, but we could see a movement kind of like this rounding bottom, you know, forming kind of like a cup, and then we could see a handle. So we could see this kind of pattern, snake upward, and then kind of a breakdown, and then a movement upward past 6K. So that's kind of my prediction for 2019. I think we're going to see a rounding bottom area, and then, you know, a little handle, and then break past the 6K area. And You know, that's just one scenario. Of course, if this symmetrical triangle breaks down, we really could see a test of, you know, the 3K area again, even 2800, and then, you know, some either consolidation or slight movements upward. But I'm still bullish on 2019 because, you know, if you follow the smart money and you follow the trails, a lot of positioning is happening right now. A lot of bulls are getting ready to jump in. A lot of hedge funds, and you know, you got backed looking to jump in at some point this year, and all the other big hedge funds and all this money investing into platforms and getting ready for institutional investors and things like that. So 2019 just seems, because we've fallen so hard already, you know, we've essentially fallen about 83% from all-time highs with Bitcoin, which, you know, that 85% area is kind of considered that bottoming out area for Bitcoin. So we're already pretty much there, guys. So there's just so many indicators that are suggesting that we're bottoming out. Not calling a bottom yet, but per the prediction, this could be a bottom. Now, there's also a lot of changes, guys. I mean, last month we saw the wells really change things up on the expiration dates for the Bitcoin's future contracts. They went bullish, guys, and that's something that was very different for 2018, because most of the year they were very bearish on their expiration dates and they pushed the market down. The wells did push the market down over and over, and they bought the bottom. And you know, at the end of the year, both contracts expired, and both times they went up, and even some of what people were calling bloody Mondays were actually green Mondays. So, you know, December was definitely a break of market structure and a break of how 2018 has been performing. So, you know, there's a lot of indicators suggesting that 2019 is going to be great. It's going to be a good year. So we'll have to see where everything matures. But you know, I'm still very, I feel very positive about the market, especially for 2019. And that's kind of my prediction of where 2019 could be going. We could be seeing kind of a cup and handle up to 6K, break down, and then break past 6K, you know, leading into 2020 being even a better year than 2019. But anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at this article. Now, if you guys have followed me in the past, you know that I hang out in the Cardano trading Telegram channel. A lot of people ask me to make my own channel. I really, at this point, don't want to. I mean, it's something I would possibly do in the future when there's enough people following, and we can really create a great channel where there's a lot of resources and things like that available. But for now, I am a Cardano guy, and you know, using that channel really works and benefits me, because if there is some really technical Cardano questions, they can actually be bounced off the moderators there, the admins of the channel. So, you know, I have a lot of backup there, and that helps out. You know, it's not something I have to run by myself, and I can still, you guys can still pick my brain. Of course, nothing I ever talk about and say is financial advice, but you know, there you can still pick my brain 24/7. You can PM me there, you know, through Telegram. But at the same time, I like to hang out in that Cardano Telegram channel, trading Telegram channel, because there's a lot of other technical people there that you can bounce Cardano questions off of, and they can even fact check me. And it's like a big area where we all can learn. But anyways, this article is very interesting. One of the subscribers of the channel basically posted this, and I really liked it. It's very positive. It's a CCN article, and it's referencing Cardano in a positive light, so that's amazing. But the title, this was a recent article. It was on January 2nd, and it says the top 10 cryptocurrencies aren't the most actively developed. And I'll go ahead and link the article down below for you guys in the description, so go ahead and check it out and read it all for yourself, but I'll just kind of summarize. I found this to be the kind of the meat and most important part of this article, and it says Cardano has more than twice the commits of the second place Augur at over 45,000. It should be noted that not every commit in a repository is necessarily of substance. Simply looking at the external metrics of a Git repository does not necessarily indicate the level of work being done. A single commit can contain changes to every single file in a repository, and it would still only count once. Likewise, a separate change to every file in a repository could be pushed, and it would count as numerous commits. So the main point here is that, you know, Cardano is #1 out of the top 10 most active development teams in the cryptocurrencies that are tracked. Cardano's #1 for commits to GitHub. And basically GitHub is a site that you can basically, you know, developers can go ahead and post their developments, their work, and people can see, you know, what they're doing. Things can be explained, things like that. So you can go ahead and check out GitHub for yourself. But this article is essentially showing that Cardano has the most development out of you know, many cryptocurrencies, and some of these cryptocurrencies are, you know, very well-known cryptocurrencies. So you can see you have Ethereum here. Lisk is kind of an old one that people don't talk about as much. Of course, everyone knows Tron. Komodo is kind of like an interesting project. Skycoin, if you know McAfee, you know, that's a coin he's kind of backing. On Waves, they've been making waves recently, you know, with their decentralized exchange. So this is a pretty good lineup here, and you see Cardano at the top, and it actually has double the amount of commits than Augur down below. Augur is actually an interesting project itself. But, you know, I'm a Cardano guy, and I find Cardano to be the most interesting project. But anyways, Cardano being #1, that shows you guys that should be, this article should be very important to you, Cardano people, because you can see here that Cardano is putting in work, and this is, you know, based off, you know, I wanted to read this piece here where it says it's, you know, even though they're showing us #1, it's not, this is not exactly saying that it's necessarily the most worked on project, but it is a really good indication that it is. And you know, if you follow Cardano, you know that they do put in a good amount of work in general. And this is just really positive to see from CCN especially. So anyways, guys, it looks like our project is really kind of just full steam ahead through 2019. You guys know Q1 has a lot to look forward to. And of course, I'm just getting back into everything from the break. A lot of traders take a break towards the end of the year, and that's what I did. So go ahead and look forward to more Cardano videos in the future, catching up on, you know, everything and the charts. And let's see where this chart matures. Let's see if 2019, you know, I've been saying since the beginning of my channel, January, February is going to be, you know, kind of like the change of market structure, and this could potentially be. So let's see where we go, guys. It's a really interesting time to be in crypto, And these are really good times to buy, in my opinion. Of course, nothing I ever say is financial advice, but yeah, if you guys have anything you want me to look into, guys, go ahead and let me know down below. Also, just as a side note, I thought you guys would think this is funny. A while back I made an Electroneum video, and I started up the mobile miner, and actually since then, which it's kind of been a while, but I've basically mined 100 Electroneum. So that kind of goes to show you how much you can mine with one phone. So it's basically not very much, but it is pretty interesting, and it is an interesting app that you can use to, in my opinion, kind of bring new people into cryptocurrency, where they can go ahead and get their own hands on crypto and on a wallet and things like that. Of course, if you have the ability, I think, and because Electroneum's free, but if you have the ability to spend a couple dollars, I would say go ahead and get them on Yoroi, on the Yoroi wallet, and give them some ADA. ADA's really cheap. I'd say give them 1,000 ADA or something, just to play with. You could even get them into Daedalus. But yeah, guys, good times ahead, I think. We'll see. Never give up on the future of money. Take it easy.